So when it comes to recording my YouTube videos, there's so much I want to say and so much I want to share. I get so excited, like my mind just starts like just have so much I want to like do and how much information's like up in here. That's why I get so creative with things and why I'm like always trying new things. I love being creative. I mean, I've been that way since I was like this big. My mom tried being homeschooled. My mom would try to teach me like math and stuff like that, but I just wanted to like create things all the time. So I'd always be like, ooh, like wandering off, doing my own thing. I guess when you're like truly passionate about something and something really excites you, it just, I think, happens that way where you're just like, I can't contain it. It just wants to come out everywhere. Bear with me, guys, bear with me. I actually make more work for myself with my YouTube videos because of all the editing I have to do, because it's like bouncing all over the place, but I have like so much like knowledge and experiences and things I want to share that sometimes I just don't organize it very well in my head. If you ever took a trip in HunnyBuns' mind, it would be a trip. You'd be like, what the heck? What's up, YouTube family? I hope we're doing fantastic. So this video is going to be a little bit different than the normal, so I think it's important to be able to elaborate more, especially because I post on social media like Instagram and Facebook these little quotes and these little things that come from the heart, from the mind, the heart that I always bring to you guys, but they're always in such short form. I think sometimes it's nice to actually hear the person say it, talk about it, and we can get more in by doing video. YouTube, I love you. You're so amazing. You help me connect with everybody. We get to connect, guys. We get to connect through video. How amazing is that? We're going to talk a little bit about finding happiness, finding your balance, finding your groove, finding peace, finding confidence, because they all end up coming down into one thing, you. First, I'm going to start a little bit with my own experience, and because I've been there, I've been super unhappy, I've had insecure moments, I've suffered from depression, I've suffered from all the ups and downs, the happies, the sad, everything that you guys are either currently going through or have been through. I've been there too. I'm not this untouchable person that's never had a bad day in my life. I'm human. I still have good days, still have bad days. I still have days I'm unmotivated. So I always talk about trying to find something you enjoy, something that makes you happy, and you're not gonna know right away what that is. It's taken me years to really find what I was really passionate in and what really made me happy. I've worked in a fish store, I've worked in retail, I've worked on a horse ranch, I've worked in a dental office actually for 11 years. I tried doing my own makeup business, hair design, hair extensions, photography business. I've tried all these different things because I just was never satisfied with one thing, and I've always done fitness my whole life. As long as I can remember, I've always been active. It took me about 22 years and doing all these different things before I finally decided that the gym, the workouts, the diets, being a nutritionist was what I was truly passionate about. I think the biggest change for me was I was working in a kid's dental office for 11 years, and I absolutely loved working with the kids. The kids were so much fun, probably hence why I have such a weird kid-like personality, mentality, and so much energy, but I was a perfect fit for that office, and I worked there. Yeah, I went on 11 years, and the last few years before I left the dental office, I find myself complaining more about my schedule, about not having time for this, just a repetitive schedule basically, just doing the same thing over and over again. I didn't want to progress in dental anymore. I was a RDA, so a registered dental assistant. I had extra functions, but I didn't want to progress any further than that. I didn't want to be a hygienist. I didn't want to be a dentist, because that was kind of like the next you go up on the totem pole. For I think it was a good 2 years, I was just not happy with it, didn't want to progress with it, but I didn't do anything about it. So it made me actually a more unhappy person with myself and my decision for not doing anything about it. So it wasn't anybody around me, it wasn't the office, it was my own self. I knew I wanted something different, but I wasn't doing anything about it. During that time, we owned the gym. So because we've owned the gym for almost 7 years now, I was doing stuff at the gym, I was working out, I was doing all that fitness related stuff, but I didn't think about going to the gym full time or progressing further in that field. It wasn't until after I competed, it was about 3 years ago, and going through experiencing having metabolic damage and experiencing the negative side of competing that kind of like opened my eyes what I really wanted to do. I was actually, when I competed, I was still working at the dental office full time and working here at the gym. After I competed, I was kind of called into learning more. I wanted to learn more about nutrition. I wanted to avoid all that diet stuff that I went through that was not good. I wanted to avoid doing that in the future, and I wanted to prevent other people going through the same thing I did. So that's what compelled me to get my nutrition certification. So I ended up taking the online course through ISSA, and I know a lot of you have asked about that. ISSA, so I just did the online course because it worked with my schedule. I could just get it done, do the books, take the quizzes, and get my certification that way. I sat down with Zach one day and said, you know what? I need to do something about this. I'm not happy with where my life is going, with the decisions I'm making. I decided I was going to quit my dental job of 11 years, start building my clientele, start working at the gym full time. And it was scary because you're going from a regular salary, like I get paid every 2 weeks, having insurance, to going, you didn't know when you're going to get paid, if you're going to get paid. You know, you have to find your own insurance, health insurance, and just being your own boss. It was scary, but it was exciting at the same time. What a lot of people don't know too is when I left my dental job to come to the gym full time, at that time I had made that decision almost 3 years ago. We weren't making a lot of extra money to pay people. So we had a few employees, but we had to fit within a budget. And you know, you learn that as a business owner about overhead, having employees, and what's coming in and what's going out. And at the time, me and Zach knew that I wouldn't be able to basically get paid from the gym. I stressed to Zach, I didn't want him to pay me. I didn't want the gym to pay me. I will figure it out. I was so passionate about leaving my dental job and coming to the gym and just helping this place in any way I can, that money wasn't a factor to me. It was about just doing something I truly loved and truly was passionate about. I wanted to be a part of it day in and day out. Now, I focused on other little things for money, but at the time I was just barely scraping by. I knew I wanted to do this, and I knew it would work out. So I took that leap of faith, trusted the journey. Over the past 3 years, all it did was come from here go up like this. Even now, I don't take any money from the gym. A lot of extra income I get, I put into the gym, because when you're passionate about something, it's not always about what is me. It's about what can you do. What you put out comes back to you, and it can be good or bad. So as you guys have probably watched on my boob video, I talked about paying off my debt first. That was one of my goals before I quit my job, to make sure my debt was completely paid off. I wanted to make sure I didn't have any debt either before I got boobs. So there's more than one goal with that than just the boobs. I wanted to make sure I was completely out of debt before I quit my dental job. It was about a year that I made the decision that I was going to quit my job at some point. I didn't know when, because I had to pay my debt off first, and then I was going to leave and come to the gym full time. So it took me a year to reach that goal. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know how I was going to make all this money to pay it off. I set a focus to what I wanted to do and just worked hard for it every day. I stayed focused on that every single day until one day there was zero balance on everything. I walked into the office, put in my 2-week notice, and I was done. You never know when things are going to happen. You just start something and it'll happen one day. I mean, like I said, it could take a month, it could take 6 months, it could take a year, it could take 2 years, it could take even longer than that. So you just never know. Some things you just can't put a time frame or a set time on, and that's okay. But it's about finding something that you really, really want and setting your mind to it and doing anything you can to get there. Sometimes you have to wait in the unknown until one day it just makes sense. So don't get discouraged if it doesn't happen right away. You have to try so many new things and different things. Sometimes put yourself in very uncomfortable situations just until you find something. Life is about experiencing, educating yourself, and learning. So don't be afraid of that. Finding your happiness. Really what it is, it's taking a leap of faith, going into the unknown, trying multiple different things and not being afraid of trying those things until you find something that really just puts a smile on your face. Just you feel that happiness that starts from here and comes up. And it's just one of those things is everybody's different. Everybody has different goals, likes and dislikes, and it's just about playing around, trying new things, and not fearing trying new things. I did that for 2 or 3 years, of fearing of leaving my dental job to pursue fitness. I knew I kind of wanted to do it, but I was fearful of the unknown. I kept myself from doing that for 2-3 years, and I just remember just becoming more and more unhappy with myself because I knew better, but I chose to ignore it. Don't ignore something, don't be fearful, don't stop yourself from doing something just because of a fear of change. I think having change really keeps you alive, setting your own path. Not always following everybody else's or what everybody else thinks that you should do for yourself. From experience, I found happiness in what I do because I went out of my comfort zone. I failed in a lot of areas, but I learned from them, and that taught me to, okay, well, this isn't gonna work, so let's try this. Maybe I'll enjoy this, maybe I'll like this, maybe this will work. The more you do something for yourself and the more you feel good about that, and you become happier, and confidence comes from being happy with yourself and what you're doing around you, the decisions you make. Everything kind of just comes in together. Everything's not separate and you just have to work on one thing before you can go to this thing. Everything kind of just meshes together if you just constantly are working towards that. My advice to you guys is, if you're currently in a situation where you are truly unhappy with either your relationship, your workplace, your own self, take the time, maybe journal. You know, right now I love journaling and I actually still do it to this day. Try to understand what it is and try to find something to change that. It could be maybe finding a new job, a new career, picking up a new hobby. It could be really anything. So it's just about stepping out of that comfort zone, stepping out of your routine, going beyond that. As a lot of times when you do take that step, it all of a sudden opens up all these new doors and you're like, whoa, I didn't see that before. And it kind of, things start making more sense. Don't hold yourself back if you're unhappy. You know, try to change that. Change that for yourself, because if you do, you're going to find that you're actually going to be happier with yourself and you're going to start being more confident. So step out of that comfort zone. Change something if you're not happy with it. Don't just keep doing it day in and day out, because it's only going to get worse. You're just going to start resenting yourself more because you know what you should be doing. You know better. You know, you're going to fail, you're going to succeed, you're going to fail, you're going to succeed, but that's the point of finding yourself, finding what you enjoy, finding what you want to do day in and day out. Nothing can beat being self-made. Truly share with you guys, since I made that huge leap into the unknown, into the thing that feared me the most, I have never ever been happier with a decision in my life. The last 3 years, I have been the happiest person that I have ever been. I wake up every single day loving what I do. Sometimes just having relatable insight from somebody else just might help you just take that step. Don't give up when it gets rough. I know my own experience, when times would get rough, it would be really hard and I'd want to give up, trust me. But I kept telling myself, I made this decision for a reason, so why stop now? Keep pushing forward, and that's how I view everything. Is sometimes you just don't know how it's going to work out, but it will. You just have to keep pushing for that. Put all that energy into what it is you really want, and it's gonna work. It will work itself out. It will. So just keep pushing forward, keep going after what it is you truly want, and don't fear the unknown. Don't fear change. So I just posted this on Instagram, but sometimes the hardest decisions are the best decisions. So always be true to yourself. Listen to that little voice in the back of your head. It's there for a reason. So I know each and every one of you can be just as happy and successful as I am in, you know, your career or even with your own self as an individual. And I believe that anybody can have that. So I know, I believe in you. So keep pushing forward towards your passions and your goals. Don't ever give up on yourself. And the most important things, don't forget to always be yourself. I burned myself cooking last night. Yeah. I get a lot of injuries from either the gym or the kitchen. Love you guys. So I will see you on the next video. Mwah!